Good evening, everyone. I hope you all had the opportunity to enjoy the day with that spectacular event. It was pretty impressive. So, no further ado, we'll start with the public meeting.
Alors, bienvenue à cette séance ordinaire du conseil municipal de la ville de Kirkland en ce lundi 8 avril à 20h. Nous allons d'abord proposer d'adopter l'ordre du jour de la présente séance ordinaire du 8 avril 2024 tel que déposé.
Proposé par
Je propose de Mexico.
appuyé.
On la secondé pas fort.
Item 3.1, it is proposed that the minutes of the regular sitting held on March 4th at 8 p.m. be approved.
I'll propose that, Steve Bouchard.
Second line.
I'll second that, Karen Cliff.
Au point 4, compléable, il est proposé de confirmer et d'approuver le paiement d'un montant total de 26 587 267 $62 pour l'ensemble des chèques émis annulés, les dépôts directs et les paiements préautorisés pour la période du 1er au 31 mars 2024. Et le conseil municipal prend acte également du dépôt de la liste des contrats conclus en mars 2024 comportant une dépense de plus de 25 000.
Proposé par
J'ai proposé Jean-Pierre Jacquière.
appuyé par
Je la seconde, Nancy Cook-Mercedes.
Item 5, 5.1, it is proposed to give notice of motion that bylaw number Gen 2022-56-1 entitled Bylaw Amending Bylaw number Gen 2022-56 concerning the internal governance of the municipal council of the town of Kirkland regarding the public question period will be submitted for adoption at a subsequent sitting of the municipal council and to table this draft bylaw. The adoption of this bylaw is scheduled for the regular sitting of May 6, 2024.
and notice of motion and tabling by.
I will give the notice of motion and table the draft bylaw down in Mexico.
Nous sommes maintenant au point 6, contrat, le point 6.1. Il s'agit de l'appel d'offres génie 2024-300, service professionnel de laboratoire pour le contrôle qualitatif des matériaux. Suivant cet appel d'offres public, 2 soumissions ont été reçues à l'intérieur du délai imparti. Les soumissions ont été ouvertes publiquement le 21 mars. Un comité de sélection s'est réuni le 26 mars et suite à leur évaluation selon les critères de sélection prévus au document d'appel d'offres, les soumissions ayant obtenu un minimum de 70 points ont fait l'objet d'un calcul de pointage final. Il est donc proposé d'octroyer le contrat Génie 2024-300, service professionnel de laboratoire pour le contrôle qualitatif des matériaux, à groupe ABS Inc., le soumissionnaire conforme ayant obtenu le plus haut pointage final pour un montant total de 239 866,59 $, toutes taxes incluses.
Proposé par
I'll propose that, Karen Cliff.
and appuyé par.
Je secondé John Morrison.
6.2 is the awarding of the public call for tenders Génie 2024-500 professional services in landscape architecture and engineering for the redevelopment of heritage and pavement parks. Following this public call for tenders, 3 bids were received within the allowed timeframe. The bids were opened publicly on March 21st. A selection committee met on April 2nd, and following their evaluation according to the selection criteria set out in the tender documents, the bids with a minimum of 70 points were subject to a final score calculation. It is therefore proposed to award contract Génie 2024-500 to Concepcion Paysage Inc., the confirming bidder, with the highest final score for a total amount of $271,138.64, all applicable taxes included.
And moved by,
I'll propose that, Nancy Cook-Mercedes.
seconded by.
Je la seconde, Karen Cliff.
Nous sommes maintenant au point 6.3. Il s'agit de l'octroi du contrat TP 2024-19, Service d'inspection, d'entretien et de réparation de composants en protection incendie avec 4 options de renouvellement. Suivant cet appel d'offres public, 3 soumissions ont été reçues à l'intérieur du délai imparti. Les soumissions ont été ouvertes publiquement le 14 mars. Il est proposé d'octroyer le contrat TP 2024-19 à Chubb Fire and Security Canada Corporation, le plus bas soumissionnaire conforme, pour un montant total de 31 097,43 $, toutes taxes applicables incluses.
Proposé par
I'll propose that on the floor.
I'll second it, Dominic Zito.
Item 6.4 is the awarding of contract PP 2024-46, collection and transportation of household waste and organic matter with 2 renewal options. Following this public call for tenders, 3 bids were received within the allotted timeframe. The bids were opened publicly on March 11. It is proposed to award contract PP 2024-46 to Service Recoba Inc., the lowest confirming bidder, for a total amount of $947,494.21, all applicable taxes included.
Who would like to propose that?
I'll propose that, John Morrison.
Second by
I'll second it, Dominic Zito.
Au point 6.5, il s'agit d'un renouvellement. Le contrat GMI 2023-03, marquage de la chaussée avec 4 options de renouvellement, a initialement été accordé le 1er mai 2023 à les signalisations RC Inc. avec 4 options de renouvellement. Il est proposé de renouveler pour une première option de renouvellement couvrant la période du 1er mai au 3 décembre 2024. Le contrat GMI 2023-03 avec les signalisations RC Inc. pour un montant total de 193 559,84 $, toutes taxes applicables incluses. Ce montant inclut une hausse des prix correspondant à l'IPC.
proposé par
I'll propose that on the floor.
appuyé par
I'll second that, Steve Bouchard.
Item 6.6 is also a renewal. Contract TP 2020-10, maintenance of sports fields with 4 renewal options, was initially awarded on March 2nd, 2020 to Pelouse Santé Inc. with 4 renewal options. It is proposed to renew this contract with Pelouse Santé for a 4th and last renewal option covering the period of May 1st to November 30th for a total amount of $114,812.66, all applicable taxes included, an amount that includes the revision of unit prices corresponding to the consumer price index.
moved by
I'll propose that, John Morrison.
and seconded by
I'll second it, Michelle Bouchard.
Une autre conduction, point 6.7. Le contrat TP 2020-14, réfection de trottoirs et bordures avec 4 options de renouvellement, a initialement été accordé le 6 avril 2020 à l'épavage de la cité BN Inc. avec 4 options de renouvellement. Il est donc proposé de renouveler pour une 4e et dernière option de renouvellement, couvrant la période du 1er mai au 30 novembre 2024. Le contrat TP 2020-14 avec l'épavage de la cité BN Inc. pour un montant total de 81 075,73 $, toutes taxes applicables incluses, incluant une augmentation correspondant à l'IPC.
proposed by
Je propose on the floor.
et appuyé par
I'll second that, Karen Cliff.
C'est tout pour la section contrat. Nous sommes maintenant dans la section administration et finances. First item is 7.1. It is proposed to appoint Councillor Karen Cliff as acting mayor for the months of May, June, and July 2024.
moved by
I'll move it, Dominic Zito.
and seconded by
I'll second that, Nancy Kokkinakis.
Le prochain point, il s'agit de bail pour le stationnement de la bibliothèque. Considérant que la convention de bail pour la location à des fins de stationnement pour la bibliothèque a pris fin en décembre 2023, il est proposé d'autoriser la conclusion d'une nouvelle convention de bail avec les immeubles Aldous Kirkland société à nom collectif, pour la location des fins de stationnement pour la bibliothèque d'une parcelle de terrain au 3050 boulevard Saint-Charles pour une durée d'1 an, avec 4 options de renouvellement selon les termes prévus à la convention de bail, et d'autoriser M. Joe Sanalitro, directeur général, à signer pour et au nom de la ville de Kirkland la convention de bail et tout avis de non-renouvellement ou tout autre avis ou document pouvant être requis en application de la convention de bail, le cas échéant.
Proposé par
I'll propose that Paul Farr.
et appuyé par
I'll second that, Karen Cliff.
Item 7.3 is regarding the Voisin Solidaire project. Considering that the Voisin Solidaire call for projects financed by Espace Muni, supports municipalities wishing to develop, maintain, or improve Voisin Solidaire initiatives to forge social and intergenerational ties, break isolation, and contribute to the overall health and quality of life of citizens, as well as community development. Considering the extension of project implementation, including additional financial support for municipalities in the 2021-2024 cohort, which includes the town of Kirkland. Considering also that the town of Kirkland has demonstrated its willingness to develop a Voisin Solidaire project as intergenerational relations, good neighborliness, and caring within our neighborhoods through community mobilization at the heart of the town's concerns. It is proposed to confirm the town of Kirkland's commitment to implement a Voisin Solidaire project with the collaboration of citizens, the MADA committee, and local organizations, and to authorize Mr. Michael Clayman, Director of Recreation and Library, or Ms. Nicole Alves, Section Head of the same department, to sign for and on behalf of the town of Kirkland all documents pertaining to the extension request, the funding application, or any other document required within the framework of this call for extension of the Voisin Solidaire project.
and who moved that?
I'll propose that John Morrison.
And second?
For the second, Karen Cliff.
Point 7.4. Considérant les nouvelles dispositions sur le régime de remboursement des dépenses de recherche et de soutien entrées en vigueur le 1er janvier 2017, il est proposé d'annuler la politique interne numéro POL Conseil 001, adoptée par le Conseil municipal le 5 décembre 2011 par la résolution CM 11-249.
Proposé par
I'll propose it John Champion.
et appuyé par
Je le sais quand Nancy Cognizant.
Point 7.5, il est proposé d'autoriser les ajouts suivants à la liste de contributions aux organismes communautaires locaux approuvés par le Conseil municipal pour l'année 2024. L'organisme est Parkinson Canada et le montant est 729,50 $.
Proposé par
Je le propose de Mexito.
et appuyé par
Je vais le seconder John Champion.
We are now under item 8, Human Resources, 8.1. It is proposed to appoint Mr. Michael Plum to the management position of Supervisor Municipal Patrol within the Public Works Department as of March 25, 2024, the whole in accordance with the employment policy currently in force for management employees of the town of Kirkland.
moved by
I'll propose that, Steve Bouchard.
and seconded by
I will second that Paul Ford.
Item 9. Donc, nous sommes maintenant sous comité consultatif d'urbanisme. Le premier point est une dérogation mineure. Il est proposé d'accorder en vertu du règlement 90-63 intitulé Règlement relatif aux dérogations mineures de la ville de Kirkland. La dérogation mineure suivante au règlement de zonage 90-58. L'adresse est le 17050 route transcanadienne sur le lot 6615-009 dans la zone UM 101. Il s'agit de l'endroit où il y a le Smart Centers, afin de permettre une marge de recul avant de 19,98 mètres au lieu d'un minimum de 25 mètres de la route transcanadienne telle que stipulée stipulée au chapitre 15, note 1. Une marge de 1,1 m à l'ouest et une marge de 0 m au sud de l'aire de stationnement au lieu d'une marge minimale de 3 m telle que stipulée à l'article 7.6G. Un nombre total de 16 places de stationnement au lieu du minimum requis 21, tel que stipulé au chapitre 15, note 2. Ces dérogations mineures sont conditionnelles à ce que le terre-plein où se trouve l'enseigne entre le centre commercial et Petro-Canada soit prolongé jusqu'au trottoir de la voie de service de l'autoroute transcanadienne et que la forme du terre-plein soit examinée afin de maximiser son efficacité en tant que mesure d'apaisement de la circulation.
Proposé par
Je vais la proposer, Steve Bouchard.
et appuyé par
Je l'appuie, Jean Jacquin.
Item 9.2. It is proposed to take note of the request for approval of the site planning and architectural integration program and accompanying documents for the construction project on lot 6, 615009 in zone UN 101 located at 17050 Trans-Canada Highway and the extract of the minutes of the PAC meeting held on February 20th, 2024, and to approve the site planning and architectural integration plans listed in item 3.4.1 of the minutes of the PAC meeting held on February 20th. These plans being in conformity with the bylaw SPAIP 2022-55 and having received a favorable recommendation from the PAC, again, that is the Smart Centers project.
and moved by,
I'll move it, Jean Jacquin.
second
I'll
by
second that, Steve Bouchard.
Another PIIA. Il est proposé de prendre acte de la demande d'approbation des plans d'implantation et d'intégration architecturale et des documents d'accompagnement relativement au projet de reconstruction d'un immeuble unifamilial sur le lot 1-993251 dans la zone 145R située au 12 rue Carabel et de l'extrait du procès-verbal du CCU daté du 12 mars, d'approuver les plans d'implantation et d'intégration architecturale énumérés au point 3.2.1 du procès-verbal de la réunion du CCU du 12 mars. Ces plans étant conformes au règlement numéro PIA 2022-55 et ayant fait l'objet d'une recommandation favorable du CCU avec les conditions mentionnées au point 3.2.2 du procès-verbal du 12 mars 2024.
proposé par,
Je vais la proposer, Steve Bouchard.
appuyé par,
Je vais l'appuyer, Jean Jacquin.
C'est tout pour le CCU. Il n'y a rien, aucune affaire qui touche la sécurité publique et la circulation à la présente séance. Ce qui nous amène au point 11, environnement. The first item is 11.1. It is proposed to authorize the town of Kirkland to celebrate and support the Earth Day planetary event taking place on April 22nd, 2024, and to invite the residents and businesses of the town of Kirkland to celebrate this event.
moved by,
I'll propose that Nancy Koginis
and seconded by,
I'll second that Karen Cliff.
Le deuxième point sous environnement, il s'agit du point 11.2. Il est proposé de nommer M. Colin Campbell comme membre au comité consultatif en environnement et de lui accorder un mandat s'échelonnant du 9 avril au 31 octobre 2024.
proposé par,
Je propose John Morrison.
appuyé par,
Je le second Nancy Koginis.
Ce qui nous amène aux affaires d'agglomération. So it's now time for the mayor's report on decisions taken by the Montreal Urban Agglomeration Council at the regular sitting held on March 21st, 2024.
On behalf of Michelle Gibson's Association of Suburban Municipality meeting on the Aglo, it's pretty much the status quo where the ASM maintains a steady position, once again systematically voting against proposals that did not meet the legitimate expectations of the demerged municipalities. So that's about it for that.
Thank you. Nous sommes maintenant au point 13 sous affaires gouvernementales. Il s'agit d'une demande au gouvernement fédéral concernant le déficit du financement fédéral de l'infrastructure par rapport à la croissance démographique. Considérant que le Canada connaît actuellement une croissance démographique record avec 1,25 million de personnes nouvellement arrivées au pays dans la dernière année seulement, et que selon la Société canadienne d'hypothèques et de logement, la SCHL, nous devons bâtir au moins 3,5 millions de logements supplémentaires d'ici 2030 et que les municipalités doivent améliorer ou fournir des infrastructures pour absorber cette croissance. Considérant que les estimations de la LCN, le coût de l'infrastructure municipale requise s'élève en moyenne à 107 000 par logement et que selon Statistique Canada, le coût associé à la remise en état de l'infrastructure municipale existante atteint environ 170 milliards de dollars. Considérant que l'inflation dans le secteur de la construction non résidentielle a atteint 29% depuis la fin de 2020 et que les municipalités font face à une hausse du coût des projets d'infrastructure qui est non seulement fulgurante, mais disproportionnée par rapport à l'augmentation des revenus. Considérant que ces dernières années, contrairement aux revenus fédéraux et provinciaux et revenus fiscaux, les municipalités n'ont ni suivi l'inflation, ni la croissance économique, ni la croissance démographique. Considérant que les municipalités font face à une insuffisance du financement fédéral en matière d'infrastructure, à l'heure où le programme d'infrastructure Investir dans le Canada a pris fin, où le Fonds pour le développement des collectivités du Canada, autrement connu sous le nom de Taxe sur l'essence et de la contribution du Québec, la TEC, est en renégociation et où le Fonds permanent pour le transport en commun ne sera lancé qu'en 2026. Considérant que le Fonds pour le développement des collectivités du Canada, anciennement le Fonds de la taxe sur l'essence, verse annuellement plus de 2 milliards de dollars en capital directement aux municipalités par le biais d'un mécanisme d'attribution fiable, que les municipalités, petites ou grandes, misent sur ce financement pour respecter leur engagement envers la population en construisant et en entretenant des infrastructures publiques essentielles, qu'on pense aux infrastructures d'eau potable et d'eau usée, les routes, transports en commun, installations communautaires, culturelles, récréatives, etc. Il est proposé que le gouvernement fédéral collabore avec les municipalités et les signataires de l'entente afin que le Fonds pour le développement des collectivités du Canada demeure une source de revenus directs, fiables et pérennes pour les priorités locales en matière d'infrastructure, qu'il s'engage à intégrer au budget 2024 une nouvelle vague de programmes en matière d'infrastructure qui comprend notamment un nouveau programme d'infrastructure d'eau potable et d'eau usée et à augmenter le fonds d'atténuation et d'adaptation en matière de catastrophes. Et enfin, qu'il réunisse les provinces, les territoires et les municipalités pour négocier un cadre de croissance municipale modernisant le financement des municipalités et favorisant la croissance du pays à long terme.
Moved by
I'll move it, Luciano Chakna.
and second by
John Morrison.
Nous sommes maintenant au point 14. We are now under item 14, support resolutions. 14.1, considering that the Canadian Mental Health Association, Quebec Division, a member of the network that has been initiating the event for 7 years, invites everyone to talk about their personal journey under the theme Compassion Connects. Considering that we are all capable of compassion, we know that compassion has very tangible effects and that life is sometimes difficult, which is why it's important to remember that kindness is part of the human condition. It is proposed to declare the week of May 6 to 12, 2024 as Mental Health Week in the town of Kirkland, to invite all citizens, businesses, and institutions to use the keywords hashtag Compassion Connects and hashtag Mental Health Week, as well as to share the campaign toolkit so that together we can contribute to transforming our municipality into a mental health friendly environment.
and moved by
I will gladly propose this resolution, Steve Bouchard.
and seconded by
I'll second it, Dominic Zito.
Au point 14.2, considérant que la semaine de l'action bénévole se déroule du 14 au 20 avril 2024 sous le thème Bénévoler, c'est brillant. Considérant que la ville de Kirkland désire joindre sa voix à celle du Centre d'action bénévole de l'Ouest de l'île afin de reconnaître et remercier tous les bénévoles pour leur contribution à différentes causes au sein de la communauté, il est proposé de proclamer la semaine du 14 au 20 avril comme étant celle de la semaine de l'action bénévole dans la ville de Kirkland sous le thème Bénévoler, c'est brillant, et de signifier l'appréciation de la ville de Kirkland envers tous les bénévoles pour leur contribution et leur dévouement dans la communauté.
Proposé par,
Je le propose Dominique Zito.
appuyé par,
Je l'appuie, Nancy Kokinesides.
Le conseil municipal prend acte du dépôt de la correspondance du mois de mars 2024 par la greffière. There is no new business table at the sitting, which is now the time for the public question period. Alors, je vais lire un petit texte. La période de questions du public est maintenant ouverte. Tout membre du public qui désire s'adresser au conseil municipal est prié de faire la file derrière le micro. Lorsque le droit de parole vous est accordé, veuillez énoncer vos noms et adresses et formuler votre question de manière claire et concise en vous adressant au maire dans un langage respectueux. Chaque intervention est limitée à 2 questions portant sur les affaires de la ville. Il vous sera possible de poser des questions supplémentaires lorsque tous les membres du public qui désirent s'adresser au conseil municipal auront eu l'occasion de le faire. Public question period is now open. Members of the audience who wish to address the municipal council are requested to line up behind the microphone. When given the floor, please state your name and address and direct your question to the mayor in a clear and concise manner using respectful language. Each intervention is limited to 2 questions related to the town's affairs. You will be able to ask additional questions once all members of the audience who wish to address the council have had a chance to do so.
Before we begin, I just want to ask Nancy Kokinesides to give you a little update of an upcoming event. I forgot to mention earlier, by the way.
Oh, perfect. So we have the, on May 11th, between 9 and 2 at the municipal yard, we're going to have our Environment Day. It's an important day. It's a day that we're also going to be handing out various items. There are tomato plants, or you have the tomato plants, and this year our flower is going to be the agache tash. It's a perennial. Not necessarily, no. It attracts bees and it's a beautiful plant. We're also agache tash. Yeah, that's what it's called. We're also handing out our reusable mesh bags and of course the compost, which is very popular. Bring your own shovel and your container. And that will be between 9 and 2 on May the 11th. We'll bring this up again on the next meeting, so just to have everybody.
Just as a reminder. Yes, I believe it is on May 11th Day.
May 11th.
Mother's Day? I'm not sure.
May 11th. May 11th.
Anyways, thank you. Thank you, Nancy.
Good evening, everybody. Item number 7.2. Yes.
Sorry, your name and address.
See, I missed the last one and got out of habit. Marina the show in 98 Morleyville.
Thank you.
Okay, so item 7.2, the word lease means implies exchange of money for something, no?
You said 7.2?
Yes.
Leave the library parking lot.
Could you be more specific which part of the parking lot it is?
Oh, yes, this is the land that we rented behind the Gourmet Boo for extra parking for the library.
Okay.
That's what it's related
Well,
to.
this is why I'm asking the following question. Last year, I brought up to the fact that the city of Kirkland was removing the snow from the parking lot. And I was told, because they gave us for free, my understanding, I'll stand to be corrected, but my understanding was it was for free in exchange for the city of Kirkland removing the snow from the site. So, would you correct me on it then, please?
Reno, I'll do better than that. I'll give you a copy of the lease tomorrow. And it describes exactly the conditions, but no, it's not for free. I'm not really sure where you got that information from.
Right in this chamber.
No, I don't think anybody ever said that that was for free. And I was there when you asked the question the last time, and I can assure you that I would never have answered it was for free, knowing that we're paying a piece on the actual property. There's an arrangement for us to have that property. It includes some snow removal. It includes some payment, but it's for our residents to be able to park for the use of the library, as the library parking / town hall parking is not sufficient for the two buildings. So that's what we've kind of
I'm glad that it's clarified because I was under the wrong impression. There's something that I'm been meaning to say for many years, and I said it in different ways. During the winter time, especially after a combination of snow and rain and melting, the section from the street where it starts, I forget the name of it now, but all along Chimay-Saint-Marie, all the way up to Montrose. That part, the median is elevated, so, and on the left side, on the south side, you have the trees and the grounds from the condo section. And so our sidewalk is lower,
Right.
and the water has nowhere
I
to
thought the
drain.
city came in, when I would drive home, I would see that the city lowered on the right side of this, we are heading west, and on the right side, they lowered the snow so that snow would drain onto the street. Water, so that there was a clearance. I thought it was much better, you had stated.
No, it's, maybe you could take note and have the public works people really do a good job, because once the snow melts and the temperature drop, it's like a skating rink. One solid skating rink, and you can't walk on it. Several times this winter I had to walk on the street.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, no more? Just one? And you walked it. Luc Pigeon. Oh. 16876 Hymas.
Thank you.
My counselor, John Morris, is going to be very happy tonight because both of my questions concern Kirkland. Okay?
For a change.
Yeah, and I hope there's an answer. Like last month, there was no answer. So, why don't we have the rules and procedures of a healthy democracy like Montreal that prevents bullying, interruptions, harassment, and doesn't force citizens like me to reveal their addresses on the World Wide Web, when it could put my safety of others in danger? Like in my case, because I am advocating for the freedom of Palestine, and it's making Zionists so angry that they're accusing me of being provocative. It happened a couple days ago at Fairview Shopping Center, and they tell me that I have no business advocating for Palestinians because I'm not one. So I think maybe they're due for an improvement. Our procedures and regulations for our council meetings should be upgraded, because I think they probably date back from the 1800s. My first question, could you consider it?
The city's only been established since 1960, sir, so.
I know.
We don't discuss any worldwide affairs. And if you have a city pertaining, if you have a question pertaining to Kirkland, we'd be more than happy to answer it. You know, if you give us a specific question, what is it you?
Well, I think the rules and procedures could be improved, like in Montreal.
Exactly.
My safety is not at risk because we register, when we write in the register, they ask us our address, but it's not published across the world. Because in my case, I'm being threatened there at the Fairview Shopping Center because I'm wearing a t-shirt that says Free Palestine, and the Jewish Zionists don't like it, they're coming after me. So in case something happens to me, I told you, you're going to be responsible. I don't care. You want to answer the question? Mike, you can come up with a better question, maybe?
Better question? Better
Better
answer?
answer. You know, I am nervous because I know I hope I have some friends on council, but I don't seem to have many. So your answer didn't really come to answer my question.
Well, it's just a general question what you're asking, and
Can
there's
you
no
answer?
answer to respond to your safety as far as the city is not,
Not
in any
important.
way, putting you at risk.
It's not.
So that's maybe a difference of opinion, and we'll just leave it at that.
It's up to you, you're the mayor now.
There you go.
Okay,
Thank
good
you.
luck on your job tonight.
Thank
Okay, my second question,
Go ahead.
and it concerns Kirkland again, indirectly. So, you know, the Suburban has reported that demerged West Island cities are being mistreated. Okay, that was in the Suburban, I think the recent one. By their more powerful neighbors, the city of Montreal. So you know how it feels like to get under the thumb of a more powerful neighbor, don't you? So my question follows. Knowing that Palestine is in the same or similar position, but a worse situation than you are since 1948, they've been enduring this 76 years. Shouldn't you be on the side of the Palestinians because
Mr. Dijon,
all cities are,
we don't answer any questions, your questions regarding, if it is a question regarding Kirkland, we'd be more than glad
It is.
to answer.
can you
But
stop?
we don't want to listen to worldwide conflicts. I mean, that's not our position here right now to
Well,
comment on.
Many cities around the world are taking a position on the conflict in the war in Gaza, so you don't have a position.
See, we're not going to answer. We've already, I believe Mayor.
Can I finish my question before you say that? Just let me finish my question, please. As a neighbor, you know, whatever. So, since 1948, shouldn't you be on the side of the Palestinians because they like?
Hold on, I'm going to stop you right there,
Yeah.
because that is not a question. We don't wish to listen to a story. If you have a direct question, we're more than glad to answer it.
Okay, I'll
But
give
if
you
you don't have a question direct that we can answer,
I'll give you the same.
I'll ask you to sit down and be respectful to people waiting in line who do have a
I'll ask you
question.
the same questions I sent you an email on, okay?
You've asked your two questions, I believe we've
You didn't
answered
answer
you to
the
the
second
best
one.
of our ability, and that we're not answering.
You didn't even let me finish my second question. So maybe we need a change. The election's coming up next year. Maybe we need a change of a few councillors and possibly the mayor. Okay?
Thank you for.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name's Deborah Deegan. I live at 15 Kirkland. I'm here to address an incident that happened last year in January where me and my neighbors received tickets.
you.
Closer to the mic there. Debbie, is it Debbie? Closer to the mic. Closer to the mic.
We received a ticket for interfering in a snow clearing operation.
Okay.
So I went to court and the ticket was withdrawn. But my point here is that not just me, but a number of my neighbors in 15 Kirkland received the same ticket. And my neighbors are not like me. They're a lot older, senior citizens. They're on fixed incomes and they have limited resources and they're intimidated by this procedure. So on behalf of my neighbors, I'm here to complain that the peace officers who issued those tickets issued unwarranted tickets. Oh, here, that's how you do it, okay.
No worries.
And I understand also from my neighbors, it's not the first time. So in my opinion, this is a bit of a tax grab and really unfair and targeting some of the most vulnerable people in your community, because I'm pretty sure the Summerhill townhouses are probably the least expensive places to live in Kirkland. And therefore, my question is, how can you assure that this won't happen again in the future?
Well, first of all, I'd like to be rest assured that it's not a tax grab. And as far as your individual case, I'd rather let our Director General, Joe, respond to it, because I'm not aware of the incident.
I'm not well aware either. What I will do though, is I will find out exactly what happened, find out the result of what the court judgment was, and I'll give you a show back.
Well, okay, I can tell you that the ticket was issued, and I have photographs. They put up signs, so this happened on a Friday night. I came home at 9 o'clock, I parked on the street instead of my parking space because I was bringing in heavy groceries. And the next morning, we all had tickets. So the ticket was issued at 2:35, I guess, on the Saturday morning, and the signs went up for snow clearing operation that was going to take place on Monday.
Mrs. Deegan, what date was that?
The ticket was issued on January 21st. last year.
Can I ask that you let me get all the details on the ticket?
Would you like to see?
What I want to do is get my.
I have a copy here for you.
Okay, sure, I'll take it. But what I'd like to do is find out what happened. Go ahead, Mike, and grab it.
2023.
No, last January, yes. I'm very sorry it took me so long to bring this to your attention, but I had some issues that prevented me from coming here.
Was it 2023 or 2024, the ticket in January?
No, last year,
2023.
Okay, thank you.
okay? I went to court last month, so I have to take it clear. It was really important that I went to court to get the court judgment so that I could authentically stand here in front of you and tell you that it was an unwarranted ticket.
Mrs. Deegan, Mrs. Deegan, hello,
I also have the,
Mrs. Deegan, you sent me an email.
no, I sent you an email asking you for the bylaws.
You sent me an email,
I have the
and I
email.
asked you for more information, and you never responded.
No, I don't want you to help me, Mr.
Well,
DeFore.
I can see
I
that.
wanted to go to court. It was important for me to go to court. Okay? The judgment from the court is
Just a
different.
minute, please, just 1 second. I answered your email, and I asked you, please give me the details of when, where, the ticket number, and you refused to give it to me.
That's right. I don't
Okay.
want you to help me drop the case. I needed to go to court to get the judgment from the court. Okay? It's not just for me. Okay? I'm here because all my other neighbors got hit with the same thing,
So
and
listen,
I don't want it to happen again.
Mrs. Deegan, you're asking me to answer some stuff tonight, which I do not have information.
No, I know that. I'm just asking
Okay,
Mr.
so what I
I
will do-
appreciate your offer of help, Mr. DeFore. I do. And if it was just me, I would have accepted it. The thing is, though, that I wouldn't have any reason to be here. I had to go to court to get the court to say it was an unwarranted ticket for me to prove to you, and I want to give that to you as well,
Courts don't say about it.
that it was
You just said what.
Yeah.
So what I will do is I will gather information from my administration, because I'm not aware of the ticket, and I will give you a call. Maybe what, Mike, do me a favor, can you privately, can you get Mrs. Deegan's phone number? And give her a shout, and we can get together, and we can talk about the whole situation.
right. So if it was just a one-off, I guess I would let it pass. But I understand from my neighbors it's not. So that's why I'm here.
All I ask is that you allow me to inform myself, and
Yes,
once I
sir.
have that information, we're more than happy to sit down with you.
I look forward to hearing from you.
Super. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Mario Rano from 23 Mobile. I understand the town is looking at possibilities of an aquatic center. I don't know what stage you're at, I presume it's fairly preliminary. What I wanted to ask though is if this continues along the way, does the town intend at some point to hold a public referendum on this to let the citizens decide if they want this or not?
I'm not even there yet.
We just have had brief discussions on this matter, and we're not even at that point at all yet. I mean, it's just been thrown out that we, people have asked and looking at it, and no,
Are you conducting any studies of any?
not at
kind
this time.
No studies at
No,
all?
no.
No studies at all?
We're doing a preliminary analysis right now, looking at different options, but
So you are considering?
feasibility study, sorry.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
My question is, if this continues along the way, at some point, do you intend on holding a public referendum?
I can't answer that at this time. That would have to be something discussed by council
Do you
and the
not,
mayor.
do you not think a project of this magnitude should require citizens to,
But will definitely require citizens' input, but how we go about that, I cannot answer for you.
input is not necessarily a referendum?
I don't even like that.
Mr. Rano, we're very, very much in the preliminary stages of analysis on these types of projects. I can assure you if the council decides that there's a need for a referendum, because there's many ways of consulting residents that are not necessarily a referendum. So you're using that word very, very particularly, but there's other ways of consulting residents. So no decision has been made at this point in time on a project. No decision has been made at this point in time on any project. And until such decisions are made, there's no need to determine whether or not a consultation of the residents is needed. So I think you need to give the council the opportunity to analyze the situation more thoroughly, and when it gets to a point of if it becomes more concrete than what it is today, then they can decide which way they want to consult their residents. But it doesn't necessarily have to be a referendum. There's many ways of doing so.
That's fine, I'm not stuck on a referendum,
Okay.
but I am concerned that citizens have an input on this, and so that they should decide if this should go ahead or not. I'll follow this, along the way, and we'll come back at some point at an appropriate time, and.
Concern noted, Mr. Reynolds.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bob Cox, 168 Niagara. Would somebody answer me on item 5.1?
What would you like to know?
What I would like to know, is there a date that people could, is it going to be a date? You said May 6, 2024. Is that for the public?
This is-
5.1.
What are you looking for?
Yeah, 'cause I'm looking at.
Certainly regarding the public question period. This is what I'm.
Well, the council meeting, May 6th.
Oh, okay, it's not regarding what's going on with the public, with the public questioning or anything like that?
So what, go ahead. So what we're doing, is we've taken the section of the bylaw governing these meetings.
Yeah.
And we've clarified to make it more clear as to the types of questions that can be asked.
Okay,
So for example, for a few months now, we've gotten questions that are more world-oriented, not.
yeah, I understand that.
So we've clarified our bylaw to make sure that it's very, very clear and compact as to
For
what
current.
can be asked for current meetings. That's what that is.
Okay.
So what the May 6th is that the actual adoption of those new regulations will take place on May 6th.
Okay.
Okay?
Coming back to the gentleman that was here about the aquatic center and all that, there was, going down the line, it was asked by different people about what's happening about our new recreation center or something like this. Now, if don't get me wrong, on regards of this, you were looking for land. So, were you able to tell the gentleman that the possibility of an aquatic center or a new recreation center is going to be built at some time?
What I'm willing to say tonight is that council is analyzing and discussing the possibility. The study you're making reference to is to see whether or not there's land in the municipality that would allow us to build such a project.
Which you're looking at the present time.
I just said that the study allows us to look at properties that exist in the municipality today that would allow us to build such a project. But at no point in time have there been a commitment to build it or not build it. Council right now is analyzing and studying.
Looking for land. That's what you said quite a few meetings ago.
Yeah, looking for land. It's quite a few meetings, but it takes time, right? Each piece of parcel of land has to be evaluated, analyzed, its benefits, its pros and its cons, whether or not whatever the zoning is on that particular site. There's a lot of things that go through this one. So this is I think what council has said to you over multiple months, this is a long-term project. The gentleman made reference to the cost of such a project. We are continuing to go down that road, but there's no decision that's been made as to whether we're doing so or not. It'll be analyzed fully, but as you saw, the gentleman wants a referendum. You're in favor of the project. There's always three sides to every story. We're working on it right now, but it's down the road. It's not something that's going to get done in a few weeks.
No, I understand that. But is it, regarding to this project, is it being analyzed and within a certain amount of time that you're going to get back to the public?
So what I'll commit to, what we can commit to is that we will take the time necessary to do a proper analysis, Bob. At some point, we'll be getting back to the public. But I can't tell you if it's 6 months from now, 8 months from now, a year from now. Let council do its work, let council determine.
I understand fully.
So the answer to your question is yes, we'll get back to the public at some point. We just don't know what time frame is right now. We gotta do our homework and make sure that we understand things properly and a complete analysis of the project, and at that point, we'll go from there.
During the course of many meetings, that the council was supposed to go and look at different sites, different projects that are already in other cities. That's what you announced.
Yes, so what we announced, Bob, is that council's doing their homework. So council is visiting different sites to see what other municipalities have done, what they included in their different facilities. So that it's part of the analysis, so visiting sites and learning from what other people have done, what made mistakes, where they've actually succeeded, is part of the analysis that we want to go through. And that's, so council is taking the time for different sites to educate themselves as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Ron.
You know that cities are the only place where citizens can have access to their elected representatives. So I will ask you, as a city, concerning the genocide going on in Gaza,
Okay, I'm gonna have to ask you now, that's it.
you can't
Do
say
you have a
anything about
question
it.
pertaining to Kirkland?
No, can you not
That's
say
it,
something
no.
about it?
We have no response. We have no response to your question.
That's very unfortunate, because there is no other avenue for me to go, apart from Kirkland.
We have no response.
Montreal has stated their
We have
position.
no response to your question.
Montreal is a city that has stated their position.
Please,
What is your
I'm gonna ask you to
position?
sit down, please.
You have no position,
Be respectful.
so you do not represent me anymore. I guess you represent
Thank you.
another group, not us. You
Right.
represent you.
That's why we're here. Is it for Kirkland?
Yes.
Okay.
Good evening.
I live in Kirkland on the Cambridge Street.
What's your name, sir?
My name is Gino Chiarella,
And your address?
25 Cambridge.
Thank you.
Mr. Mercer knows me well.
Closer to the mic, please.
Yeah, come back. Thank you.
I'm here for one reason. I have a dog and I have a license. I have a
You
car.
have a dog and a license?
I have a dog and I have a license for the dog.
Perfect.
For Kirkland, which is required that, isn't it?
Yes, it does.
How many people do you think that in Kirkland today with dogs and cats, and snake, and God knows what, without a license?
Are you asking, you're asking me
I asked, yeah.
how many people have a license?
Yeah,
Or don't have? I have no idea how many people have a license.
but they should have.
You're required to have a license for a cat, a dog.
They should have.
It's by law.
By law, yeah.
I know it's a law. And I have a tricycle, and I have a license for my tricycle, and I have a dog with a license too.
Do you have a question?
And before, I never see people with dogs anywhere. Now I see people with dogs everywhere. That's number one. Number two, every street you go, there is a green bag or a black bag on the curb. They don't
Yeah, we do
have-
have disrespectful neighbors sometimes.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
I prove it to Mr. Merson there, and I live in the front of the park, which is a nature park. You cannot walk in that park without tripping something, because there's branches everywhere now. And when a teenager walks in that park and he falls down and he rips his face, that's a problem. It could be a nature park, you should walk on.
It's true.
You cannot walk in that park. And I walk with the dog every morning, and in the afternoon I go with my tricycle, Mr. Mercy knows, and I'm clean. And I see people walking the dog and they don't carry the bag because they throw it in the curb.
Well, one suggestion I can give you, because I went through this in my area also, and it's usually the same people that do this. And we required the public's assistance, and if you could call public security, they will see this, and they will have a talk with the individual, because you'll see that it won't be everyone. So that's a suggestion I can give you, is to notify our city when this happens, and you see it, because if you're consistently walking every day.
I see them every day.
There
And
you
I
go.
wonder out to Mr. Mercer, some lady that she tripped in the front of my house, she didn't pick it up the first time, and I saw it about 2 days later, the same thing, and I said, lady, I think you forget something. She says, I'm gonna have this touch with my daughter, it's very important.
Good for you, and she's been told, by the way. Gino, she's been told.
I would be surprised if you did talk. Because you have cameras everywhere now, and you wanna clean the city, you wanna do that, clean it, send them a fine. When somebody you see it in the camera, and that's when you teach people a lesson when you hurt them in the park.
bad.
Works in Singapore, doesn't it? Can you pick up a piece of paper in Singapore in the street? No chance in hell.
Well, we're gonna take it under advisement.
Well, if this is a small city, you can be the starter. You only have to put an ad in the paper or that somebody get a fine of $500 for not picking up his crap to take it home. Isn't that a fact?
Gino, you know what my wife did?
I'm sorry?
My wife. Someone came with their dog and they pooped right on my step. My wife was in the house, saw her, knew who she was, went outside, picked it up with a shovel,
Run to her house.
brought it to her step.
Yeah, I wanted to do that to this lady that I put it out to Mr. Mercy, believe me.
Yeah,
Because she doesn't have a dog, she's a bull. And I have a German Shepherd, and I have a tricycle, and I don't expect anybody to be like I am. Mr. Mercy knows that.
Yeah,
I have a tricycle, I have a shovel, I have bags, and I take it back home.
And the radio on the bike.
And the radio on my back, because I love my music.
Yeah, the worst thing they do, Gino, is some people pick it up with the bag and then throw the bag.
I just told you, I walk around the tennis court, and there's at least a dozen bags in the bush. And this morning was one next to the fence of the tennis court. If I would have seen a guy, I would have picked him up and make him take it home and eat it.
Thank you for the information.
I'm telling you, you only have to find somebody and publish it. And then people they start to walk the line.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening.
Everybody do.
Thank you. And actually, they should be here for the city, not for God knows where.
Thank you.
Me again. Okay, so I have a question.
Go ahead.
But after what I just heard from the gentleman, it reminded me when I was living in NDG, and they had special receptacles for the doggy do, with special covers. And it was very effective. You know, NDG's got a lot of density. And I noticed that when I was taking my doggy for a walk, that people really do use those receptacles when they're available, and I thought maybe that would be a good thing to install in some of the parks. That's not a question.
Do you want to respond, Joe, regardless? As far as the receptacles that we did put in? Okay, thank you.
My name is Janet Longlad. My husband's Keith Poe. We live at 1 I'm not doing, I feel myself so well.
You're doing great. Go ahead.
136 Chateau Kirkland, about this far from the Chateau Kirkland Park, which is our issue. So I read with interest the bylaw that was discussed last month, SP 2022-55-5, and I wondered what circumstance led to that amendment.
What was the amendment?
It was designed to minimize visual and acoustical nuisances to adjacent like what happened that you got. Do you not know what I'm talking about?
Well,
We
if I
discussed
don't,
it at length
you know what?
last-
Have to refresh our memories.
Yeah.
The site and building should be designed in a way so as to minimize any visual or acoustical nuisances to the adjacent residential, mixed-use, park zones, integrated mitigation measures, such as noise barriers, landscape berms, large trees, shrubs, appropriate fences. I'm wondering what happened what circumstance arose that you changed that amendment? I'm so jealous of the consideration that these people were
It had to do with
given.
industrial buildings
Where?
and the residential buildings.
Okay, well, I would call that one there because we had an issue with an industrial building that came to CCU, and we didn't have a visual barrier for where the trucks come in to unload. So we had one person that came through and said, well, it's not in your bylaw, but I'll do it anyway. And we said that was a good design modification on one of those properties, so we said we should put that it's stated in the bylaw that we require those visual barriers for trucks when they're coming in and unloading, like loading docks in industrial areas.
So this
No.
would be like along the Trans-Canada Service Road, all those big industries that went up and the backyard
Yeah, if
residences?
you notice, the positive design feature came out initially with the Roosevelt project. So when you go along the service road on our side of the highway, not the south service road, but the north service road between St. Charles and Burn and the three new buildings.
Mhm.
If you have a look at the back, what they've done is they put in a fairly large wall so that even the semis, when they come in, the neighbors in the back will not be able to see them because they put a large
How
wall.
nice.
And then
So nice.
And so
So nice.
that was a design feature for that particular purpose.
They don't have to look at
And then we looked at making a similar change so that we're treating everybody the same way. So that's what that is. Every commercial industrial.
Commercial,
Yeah, and we had another one,
So-
we had another one on the south side, and we applied it there, and
My
it has
counselor-
good results.
My point is,
Mm.
I'm jealous of the consideration that you gave those neighbors, whereas Keith and I didn't receive the same in the creation, redesign of the Chateau Kirkland Park. You've created for us an eyesore, acoustical nuisance. I've been banned from emailing. You banned me. You should have seen my face when I read that.
I said the file was closed. I didn't ban you from emailing. Mrs.
You
Pope,
said,
Mrs. Locke,
don't email anymore, we're not gonna reply.
because we can only say the same answer a dozen times, and at some point, we have to stop saying it. So that was my email to you saying, we will not be responding to this format or this question anymore. So that was, that was,
shocked.
this is, if you're gonna be fair, if you're gonna make statements like that, then I think
Statements
you
like
need
what?
to state that this conversation was going on for many months, and that we'd come to the conclusion that there was nothing more we could do for your unsatisfaction at what we had done at Chateau Park. And we stated that for us, the file was now closed, not banned you from emailing. If you want to talk to us about any other issue, any other discussion you want to have, City Hall is always open, and we'll always answer your emails.
Well,
And if I may,
But my only issue is the Chateau Kirkland Park, but I want to say something, Joe. And I'm off of what I wanted to say, but we met with the mayor in September, right? And we discussed what can we do to reduce the noise from the drums. We discussed putting panels up and we thought that's not gonna really work. We discussed moving the drums over 6 feet. That's really not gonna work. So what we came up with when Keith and I left that meeting was to investigate the possibility of buffering the drums. Do you remember?
Absolutely.
So you came back with, we're not gonna buffer the drums.
We had a discussion, and we
Who,
determined, council, administration, had a discussion, and determined that there was a purpose for those drums, there was a reason for those drums, and we were gonna maintain the way they were. And that's what I promised you.
Because
Have
they
a
lose
discussion.
their objective by
Absolutely. There are,
by low, do you
We
know
spent-
how
I know
many
that.
times those drums wake me up?
Mrs. Pope, that park has been closed. It's winter time.
You're
It hasn't even been open
joking
yet.
me.
It hasn't even been open yet.
Oh my gosh, are you
People
serious?
just started going to the park.
No.
I live in the
Oh
area.
my
It's both you and I
goodness.
are, you and I are neighbors, right?
You
So we
do
can't,
not understand. I know when the people are at the park.
Mrs. Pope, this is what I'm saying to you. The council has made the decision on that particular matter,
Mm.
and they're not looking to reopen the discussion on that. So when I say to you the matter is closed, and you take offense to that, I'm just saying to you, we've gone through all of this. Council has evaluated all the information that we provided them and you provided them, and the decision of how the park is today, with some modifications, is how it's gonna remain. So you're welcome to want to have this discussion again, but that was my email to you, saying, we've evaluated everything, we've made a decision, and our decision is final on that, and if you keep asking the same question, It's going to always be the same answer, so at some point I'm going to stop answering because it's the same answer and you have it.
So you said that you won't offer them, but why didn't you revert back to, let's maybe put some panels up, see what we could do, move it over a bit? Like, I really don't think you have an appreciation for what you've done. There are drums 19 feet.
Mrs. Potter, I'm going to say it again. The decision was made on that matter. The council will not open up that file.
So in early 2024, I contacted Matthew in the, his name was given to me.
Matthew's our tree arborist.
It's no fun standing up here, you know.
Is that so?
It's no fun standing up here.
Okay, what do you? I was helping you with the gentleman's name, Mrs.
Yeah.
Mrs.
Yeah.
Poe.
I'm
Matthew
just
Cisa.
saying it's hard to speak because I'm
Okay.
nervous.
Sorry, okay.
So we talked about planting cedar bushes. He came at me with trees. I don't know about trees. Trees are going to cast shade in our pool. Trees drop leaves. I contacted him again in February. He said he was going on vacation. I contacted him again on March 11th. And like, I'm afraid to email because I'm trying to be respectful, believe it or not. Am I allowed to email with him? How come he hasn't answered since March 11th?
I don't know, but I will ask.
Do you have an update on the plantings that are planned?
I was not expecting for you to be here tonight, so I did not inform myself as to the timing of the planting. But I have noted your concern.
Okay.
I will ask Matthew to reach out to you and let you know when the planting is planned for.
Well, it wasn't just about when it would be planted, it would be what he's planning on planting.
Perfect. Whatever he had, but there was a decision that was made on that last year, I believe. At one point you had said, I don't want any plantings, then you came back and said, no, I do want the plantings. And he had shown you some pictures of what was going to be planted. Am I recalling that correctly?
I don't think that it's exactly correct, but it doesn't really matter.
Okay,
So long as there is something planned and that we could, like, hopefully it could cut some of the nuisance. May I ask, why are park hours the same for kiddie parks as they are for like sports parks? Do you know what I mean by the difference?
Yep. We have, our park hours are equivalent throughout.
Yes, I know that. My question is why? Why? Well, because my bedroom window is right there and the park is opened until 11 o'clock. So I can understand that for a baseball field or a soccer field, but for a kiddie park, to me, it doesn't, like, it should maybe close at 9 or 10.
Our kiddie parks have kids that are under 10, our kiddie parks have kids that are over 10, right? There's equipment for 1 to 6, and there's equipment that's from 6 to 12 or 6 to...
But it's, in the summer, it's basically dark, but would it not be considerate to reduce the park hours for kiddie residential parks? No? Am I crazy?
No, you know, I'm not saying that at all.
So is that a possibility to reduce the hours?
You'd have to have specific hours for every park, so.
No, just my part.
I've noted your point. I've noted your point of what you were just asking.
Does that mean you guys are gonna talk about it?
That means we're gonna look into it.
Oh. I'm really always worried about when I look at our park and how the equipment is so stuffed in that corner. And so I'd like to know, do you have future plans for the extra space there? Are you gonna make?
Which area are you referring to?
Michael, have you ever walked your dog through the Chateau Kirkland Park?
Well, I don't have a dog, but I've been through the Shadow Kirkland Park.
Okay, so.
I've visited.
Okay.
I've seen it.
Miss
There are no plans to do any
Is that
more.
it? It's finished? There's nothing else?
As far as I know right now, I hear the park is finished.
Skateboard parks up, there's other parks that have to be done.
No, she's asking about that, pertaining to that park. Yeah, no, that park is,
Mike, can you answer that?
There are a number of tree plantings that are going in on the perimeter of the park, for sure, that's looked at. The open green space that you're referring to, my desire is to keep that open green space so a kid can go out and kick a ball or throw a baseball or play tag or whatever they want to do. So we try to keep the larger green spaces open, but there are some trees going around the perimeter. There's a tree going right in the middle of the little island that's there, the grass island between pathways that come out in the triangle.
But no skate park, no.
No, that park will not have a skate park. I think I can say that. No skate park.
No skate park.
Hey, you guys surprise us all the time, you know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
and I believe that's, any more questions? That's it. Then we'll close the agenda. Proposed by?
Close that all the board.
And second by?
I'll second it, Dominic Zito.
Good night, everyone.
Next meeting?
Next meeting, May 6th.